The starship Aurelia hung silently in the blackness of space, its sleek hull reflecting distant stars as it orbited an uncharted planet. The crew aboard this vessel was a unique blend of species, a coalition formed from many peaceful alien civilizations. Each member had come from a different world, bringing their own knowledge, hopes, and fears. The planet below was shrouded in a dense mist, its surface marked by vast, shadowy forests and jagged mountain ranges that seemed untouched by time. From orbit it appeared serene, but the Aurelia sensors told a different story. A signal had been picked up, one desperate and raw, was a call for help unlike any they had heard before. The species sending it was trapped, caught in a deadly web, woven by their own planet's hostile nature. Predators roamed unchecked, plants moved with dangerous intent, and the weather shifted suddenly with brutal force. The distress signal was a plea to anyone who could hear it. Help us survive. The coalition wasted no time. They sent out messages across the galaxy, broadcasting the call to every nearby civilization. They expected a quick response from those willing to offer aid: scientists, diplomats, explorers, maybe even skilled healers or peacekeepers. What they did not expect was the answer from Earth. When the transmission came back, it carried a tone of surprise and unease. Earth's response was different. Instead of sending gentle hands or soothing words, they sent something else entirely. A squad of humans unlike any the coalition had met before. These humans were called Deathworlders. They had earned that name because they came from the harshest, most dangerous environments on Earth, places where survival was a daily battle against poison, predators, and brutal climate. They were tough, hardened, and prepared for challenges no ordinary aid team could face. When the Aurelia brought them near the planet, the coalition's members watched carefully. The humans moved with a raw confidence, their bodies covered in armor made from materials that looked worn but functional. Their eyes scanned the landscape with an intensity that made the aliens uneasy. These were not diplomats or scientists. They were warriors of survival. The native species that had sent the call watched from hiding, uncertain whether these strange new beings would be saviors or threats. The tension in the air was thick, like a storm waiting to break, and the humans stepped off their small landing craft with no fanfare. They did not wave or greet with peaceful gestures. Instead, they immediately began to examine the land. Touching the strange plants, listening to the distant howls of unseen creatures, and noting the signs of danger everywhere. The aliens aboard the Aurelia whispered among themselves, "Why send such fierce strangers? Could this be what the planet needed, or was it a risk too great?" The humans' leader, a tall woman with sharp eyes and a steady voice, spoke into her comes quietly. "We came prepared. This place is tough, but so are we. We're not here to negotiate. We're here to survive and to help." That's simple. Declaration sent ripples through the coalition. The humans did not seem interested in delicate talks or slow scientific study. Their presence was a challenge, an unknown factor thrown into an already dangerous situation. As the sun set behind the alien mountains, the humans set up camp with practiced efficiency. Fires were lit, sensors deployed, and watches assigned. Every movement was precise, as if they had done this hundreds of times before. The native species, hidden in the shadows, began to feel a mixture of hope and fear. Could these Deathworlders be the saviors their people needed, or would their arrival bring new dangers? The night deepened, and strange sounds echoed across. The wild landscape creatures stirring in the dark, leaves rustling with unseen movement, and the distant roar of predators. The humans sat around their fires, their faces serious but calm. They talked quietly, sharing information and planning their next moves. The coalition's crew on the Aurelia watched from orbit, their thoughts heavy. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but this planet hand, these humans, were now intertwined in a story that none could predict. The distress signal had been answered in a way no one expected, and the true test of survival was only just beginning. The humans. Landing was sudden and unlike anything the native species had seen before. The alien creatures, usually cautious and slow to reveal themselves, watched in stunned silence from the dense shadows of their forest homes as the human craft touched down with a controlled, steady hum. Outpoured figures clad in heavy, rugged gear, designed to survive the most dangerous conditions on Earth. Their clothing was a mix of thick, durable fabrics and advanced materials that could resist poison, heat, and even some physical impacts. Their boots left deep impressions in the strange soil, proof that they were used to tough terrains, places where others might break or fall behind. These were no ordinary visitors. Their faces were marked by determination, their eyes sharp and alert. Every movement they made spoke of experience, gained from living in worlds where death was a constant threat, where every breath taken required careful calculation. The native aliens, many of whom had never seen another species before, whispered among themselves, unsure whether these newcomers were friends or enemies. The humans wasted no time in exploring the area. They spread out in a disciplined formation, carefully scanning the thick forests and rocky hills. Sensors and scanning devices flickered with light, detecting dangers hidden to the naked eye, plants that emitted poisonous spores, insects that could paralyze with a single sting, and enormous creatures that stalked the underbrush with silent steps. The humans did not flinch. Instead, they moved forward with a fearless determination, carefully taking samples, setting up small monitoring stations, and marking dangerous zones. Their leader, a woman with a calm but commanding presence, communicated constantly through her headset, sharing observations and instructions. The native species observed all this from their hiding places. They could not understand the humans' fearless approach. Where their own kind would hide or flee, the humans advanced, seemingly unafraid of the poisonous plants or the giant predators that prowled just beyond sight. Oh, some aliens felt a flicker of hope, while others felt an uneasy suspicion. The humans' methods were harsh and direct. They carried weapons, yes, but these were mostly tools for survival, not for unnecessary violence. When a large predator emerged from the shadows, a beast with sharp claws and glowing eyes, the humans did not attack immediately. Instead, they used traps and non-lethal techniques learned on Earth's deadliest frontiers to capture or scare the creature away. This behavior puzzled the native aliens. Why would these strangers risk so much without rushing to fight? Why not use their technology to destroy everything dangerous instantly? As the humans moved through the hostile environment, strange weather patterns began to shift rapidly. Clouds gathered, lightning flashed, and sudden gusts of wind swept through the trees. The native species understood the signs of an approaching storm, one that could rip through the land with devastating force. The humans, however, seemed prepared. They secured their equipment quickly and took shelter where possible, demonstrating their knowledge of surviving harsh climates. This calm under pressure impressed some of the alien observers who had never seen such resilience before. Even so, doubts remained. The coalition members aboard the Aurelia watched closely. They questioned whether these humans, with their rough ways and fearless attitude, could truly succeed in helping the trapped species without making the situation worse. The human style was so different from the coalition's usual careful diplomacy and scientific study. Yet there was no denying the human skill. They moved with a sense of purpose and unity that was almost magnetic. Slowly, some native aliens began to come closer, curious and cautious. They watched the humans build small devices designed to analyze the soil, water, and air. They saw how the humans communicated with gestures and simple words, trying to understand the environment rather than dominate it. The humans' leader spoke quietly to her team, reminding them to respect the planet's life, even the dangerous parts. "We survive with this land, not against it," she said firmly. This idea, so different from the aliens' fear of their world's dangers, began to open new thoughts among the observers. Night fell, and the planet's eerie sounds filled the air. Strange calls echoed between trees, and glowing eyes watched from darkness. The humans set up a secure camp, their fires casting long shadows. They maintained their watches, ready for anything, but also sharing quiet moments of conversation and reflection. They talked about what they had seen, what dangers lay ahead, and how they could help the trapped species survive and thrive again. For the native aliens, this was a moment of change. The arrival of these Deathworlders, once feared as potential destroyers, now sparked a fragile hope. Maybe, just maybe, these humans, with their fearless hearts and survival skills, were exactly what this planet needed. Yet, beneath the hope, the question lingered. Could such a harsh approach bring healing, or would it bring new problems? The answer lay hidden in the dark forests and shifting storms, waiting to be revealed by the courage of those willing to face the unknown. The moment the humans truly faced the dangers of this alien world, the full weight of the challenge became clear. The native species, trapped in their shrinking territories, lived in constant fear of the relentless predators that prowled the forests and mountains. These creatures were unlike anything the humans had encountered before, massive beasts with armor-like hides, swift and cunning hunters that moved through the thick undergrowth without a sound.
Nice.
Their attacks were devastating, and the native aliens had few ways to protect themselves. As the humans observed, they understood that brute force alone would not win this battle. The planet's ecosystem was a web of life and danger, each part connected in ways that were unfamiliar and complex. The human survival skills, honed through generations on Earth's deadliest frontiers, became their greatest asset. Began by setting traps designed not to kill indiscriminately, but to capture or deter the predators. Using vines, sharp stones, and simple mechanical devices, they crafted tools that blended with the environment. These traps were inspired by old Earth techniques but adapted to the alien plants and terrain, showing the humans' ability to learn quickly and innovate. The native species watched from a distance, amazed at how the humans moved with confidence and patience, waiting for the right moment to act rather than rushing into danger. The humans also taught the locals new ways to use their surroundings as weapons of defense. Instead of relying on powerful technology or overwhelming force, the humans showed them how to use natural elements like quicksand, pits, thorny plants, and shifting rock formations. This approach required respect for the environment and an understanding that survival was not about domination but balance. Slowly, the native species began to participate, learning to read the signs of the predator's movements and to anticipate their attacks. The humans' rough methods, while startling at first, proved careful and thoughtful beneath the surface. They avoided unnecessary harm to the creatures and the land. It was clear they held a deep respect for life, that of their enemies, and worked to protect the delicate balance of this strange world. This attitude won cautious trust among the natives, who had never seen outsiders act with such restraint. As days passed, small victories began to build hope. The humans and natives working together managed to reclaim parts of the territory once lost to the predators. They moved as a united force, combining human strength and resilience with alien knowledge of the planet's hidden dangers. Yet, the challenges were far from over. The predators adapted quickly, learning to avoid traps and sensing the new threat. Storms roared through the forests, making movement difficult and testing everyone's endurance.
Despite these hardships,
the humans remained steady, their resolve inspiring the native species to push beyond fear. At night, around the campfires, the humans shared stories of Earth's harshest places, of deserts that burned like fire, jungles thick with venomous creatures, and frozen wastelands where survival meant endurance beyond pain. These stories were not just tales of hardship but lessons in resilience and hope, reminding everyone that life could find a way even in the toughest conditions. The native aliens began to see the humans not as invaders but as teachers and allies. Slowly, walls of suspicion lowered, replaced by a fragile bond built on shared struggle and mutual respect. Yet, beneath the growing trust, tension remained. The humans' presence altered the delicate ecosystem, and the future balance was uncertain. Could they protect the natives without becoming a new threat? Could they respect the planet's natural order while fighting for survival? These questions lingered in the minds of all. The humans, too, felt the weight of responsibility. They were not just fighting predators, they were guardians of a world they barely understood. Every trap set, every lesson taught, carried with it the hope of a new beginning for this planet and its people. And as the stars shone overhead and the alien wilderness pulsed with life and danger, the story of survival unfolded, a story where courage, respect, and unity were the strongest weapons of all. As days turned into weeks on this hostile planet, remarkable change began to take shape between the humans and the native species. At first, there was only cautious observation and wary distance, but slowly, through shared experiences and mutual challenges, a bridge of understanding started to form. The native aliens, once fearful and doubtful of these strange visitors from Earth, began to see beyond the humans' rough appearance and tough survival tactics. They noticed how the humans did not seek to dominate or destroy the planet, but instead worked with its dangers, finding ways to use them to protect and support the vulnerable communities. Under human guidance, the native species learned to harness the very ecosystem that had once threatened their existence. They were taught how to turn poisonous plants into barriers, how to use the natural currents in shifting terrain to their advantage, and how to create defenses that relied on cunning and strategy rather than brute strength. These lessons were not easy to learn. They required patience, a willingness to adapt, and an acceptance of risk. The humans demonstrated these qualities by sharing stories of their own worlds, where survival meant learning to read the land and respect its power. Meanwhile, the humans themselves began to understand the native aliens more deeply. Through quiet conversations and shared hardships, they learned about the customs, values, and ethics that shaped the alien culture. The humans saw that the natives prized harmony with nature, but had been trapped by fear after generations of living under threat. They respected these beliefs and sought to find ways to blend their own survival instincts with the aliens' desire for peace. This blending of cultures was not simple. It required careful communication, compromise, and trust built over time. The humans learned to temper their direct, sometimes harsh methods with diplomacy, listening more and acting with greater care. The native species, in turn, grew more confident and willing to try new strategies, inspired by the humans' fearlessness and adaptability. Together, they developed a hybrid survival plan that combined the humans' toughness and ingenuity with the aliens' deep knowledge of their environment and social structure. This new approach was neither fully human nor fully alien, but a powerful fusion of both, a strategy that recognized the strengths and wisdom each side brought to the table. As the partnership grew stronger, the coalition watching from the starship Aurelia began to change their view of the humans. The so-called Deathworlders, once feared as rough, dangerous outsiders, were now seen as respected allies and protectors. Their reputation shifted from mere survivors of harsh worlds to leaders capable of guiding others through even the darkest challenges. The native species, too, felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. The humans had helped them reclaim their lands not through destruction but through balance, teaching them to survive not by fighting against nature, but by becoming part of it. Still, the road ahead was uncertain. The dangers of the planet had not disappeared, and every day brought new tests of courage and wisdom. Yet the bond formed between the two peoples stood as a beacon of possibility, reminder that even in the most hostile environments, understanding and cooperation could bring strength where there was once only fear. As the sun rose over the alien horizon, casting light on a world still wild and unpredictable, both humans and natives prepared to face whatever came next, united in their fight for survival and the hope of a future built together, with the danger finally pushed back and the native species beginning to thrive once more. The alien coalition gathered aboard the starship Aurelia to consider Earth's role in their future. What had started as a hesitant invitation for help had transformed into something much greater, a chance for Earth to step forward, not as a distant, unknown world, but as a vital member of a growing interstellar alliance. The coalition's leaders had watched with cautious admiration as the humans faced every trial with unyielding resilience and quick adaptation. Traits that had once been underestimated, but now shone brightly like beacons of hope. It was clear that Earth's Deathworlders, those tough survivors from harsh and unforgiving environments, brought more than just brute strength. They brought ingenuity, courage, and a respect for balance that resonated with every species present. As Earth's delegates met with the alien representatives, discussions moved beyond simple aid or temporary alliances. Plans were laid for cooperation in exploration, defense, and the sharing of knowledge and opportunity for humanity to learn from others and to teach what they had learned in return. The humans reflected quietly on their journey, on the countless trials that had shaped them. Before ever leaving their home planet, raised in worlds where danger was common and survival was never guaranteed, they understood what it meant to face fear without turning away. This strength had allowed them to not just survive on this alien planet, but to inspire others and lead. By example, they realized that sometimes the toughest beginnings forged the strongest leaders, and that the challenges they had overcome on Earth were the very foundation of their power among the stars. The Coalition's invitation was more than a political gesture, was a recognition of humanity's potential and a call to take a place at the galactic table. The humans accepted with humility, but also with quiet pride, ready to prove that Earth was no longer a backwater world, but a key player in the vast and complex tapestry of civilizations. As the Aurelia prepared to depart, the native species came forward to express their gratitude, their eyes shining with newfound hope and respect. The humans had not only saved a people, but had shown that courage, respect, and cooperation could overcome even the deadliest odds. The story closed with Earth's delegates looking out at the stars, knowing their journey was just beginning. They had become symbols of what could be achieved when toughness was paired with wisdom, when survival was not just about endurance but about leadership. And so, in the endless darkness of space, a new light flickered, the light of humanity. Ready to shine brighter than ever before in the great cosmic dance,